Welcome, foolish mortals. I am your host, Alexander Robinson, your ghost host, if you will, and this is my review for The Haunted Mansion. Or should I say, Haunted Mansion. We don't want to confuse it with the Eddie Murphy movie, do we? I am no Paul Frees, and I'm not even a Corey Burton, so I'm gonna stop that voice right now. This is basically the second feature film adaptation of the Disneyland ride, The Haunted Mansion. A mother and her son have moved into the house, but immediately they realize that it's haunted. Unfortunately, they can't leave because the spirits just follow them wherever they go. So they call in a paranormal tour guide, played by LaKeith Stanfield, a psychic, played by Tiffany Haddish, a priest, played by Owen Wilson, oh wow, and a college professor played by DeVito, as they try to basically ease the haunts, especially when it comes to the most haunting spirit of them all, the Hatbox Ghost. So we got another adaptation of a classic Disneyland ride. In this case, this is the second adaptation of the beloved Haunted Mansion, as I mentioned earlier. And the ride is one of my favorite rides at Disneyland. It's got a really creepy atmosphere, it's long, and it was one of the very last rides that Walt Disney worked on while he was still alive. So it's very special in that aspect, and I even enjoy the Nightmare Before Christmas re-theme that it does every Halloween and Christmas. Apparently the Haunted Mansion ride at the Magic Kingdom in Florida doesn't get that, so that's a bit disappointing. But as for this movie, I wasn't really looking forward to it. I mean, the trailers for it looked fine, nothing that screamed atrocious or unwatchable to me, but there were two main reasons why I wasn't looking forward to this film. One, there hasn't really been a good streak of Disney movies based off their theme park rides. I mean, we all remember Pirates of the Caribbean 20 years ago, and even though I enjoy Dead Man's Chest and to an extent at World's End, they aren't great movies. But everything else from the fourth and fifth pirate movies to the Jungle Cruise to Tomorrowland, which I admittedly like up until we get to the ending, haven't worked. Not to mention, the last time we had a Haunted Mansion movie, we had Eddie Murphy in the lead role, and it was dreadful. Even when I saw this movie at 12 years old, I thought it was really bad. And since the movie has come out, the reviews for the film have been mixed at best. And on Rotten Tomatoes, as of recording this review, it has 40%, which is kind of harsh because I don't think this movie is all that bad. And let me rephrase that. There's a lot that I actually really like about this movie, and some of it might have to do with the fact that it trumps the Eddie Murphy movie by a long shot. But I'm not saying any of this as a backhanded compliment. For one, I love that the movie has more of a horror feeling to it. I mean, it's not full-blown horror because it's still Disney, but the atmosphere I really like. I love the way the Haunted Mansion looks. I mean, it looks just like scenes from the Disneyland ride. They use the Haunted Mansion theme a lot. Maybe a little too much, but it was admittedly nice to hear, considering that the Haunted Mansion theme is one of the most iconic pieces of music at the Disney parks. And I thought there was actually a good camaraderie between all the cast members. LaKeith Stanfield is really good, Rosario Dawson's good. Tiffany Haddish, who can be very hit or miss for me, had some moments where I genuinely laughed. More specifically, the moment where she first arrives at the mansion, kind of cons Rosario Dawson and her son, and then leaves, only for her to return 2 hours later going, "You didn't tell me those spirits would be following me." Owen Wilson's a lot of fun. Danny DeVito is hamming it up as much as he can. And it's got a pretty good cast, and then Jamie Lee Curtis isn't in it a whole lot, but she basically plays Madame Leota. And while she's no Eleanor Audley, her voice does certainly get the job done. The visual aspect about the movie is obviously the strongest part of it. And I also appreciate how this movie kind of embraces a New Orleans feel to it. It's not as heavy or as felt like in Princess and the Frog, but considering that at Disneyland the Haunted Mansion technically is in the New Orleans land, it's fitting, and I appreciate that they actually firmly set it in New Orleans. Unfortunately, the movie doesn't have that strong of a story. There are attempts to have themes where the characters are dealing with grief, more specifically LaKeith Stanfield's character. But this plotline only seems to come in and out whenever it seems necessary for it to come in, because most of the movie is basically these people trying to rid the Haunted Mansion of haunts. It doesn't really have any depth beyond that. And there are admittedly a few parts where the movie just pulls out these plot twists out of nowhere, and they just go nowhere afterwards. And in terms of Jared Leto as the Hatbox Ghost, he had no reason to be in this movie. And that's not me saying that as somebody who's not a fan of Jared Leto. I'm saying that because the way they basically modified his voice and the fact that as the Hatbox Ghost, he's completely CG and unrecognizable, there was no need for Jared Leto. At least with Transformers Rise of the Beast, you could hear snippets of Peter Dinklage's voice in Scourge. But with Jared Leto, not at all. And as much as I admire the movie for the visual look in terms of production design and atmosphere, there are some CG effects that just don't hold up. And there's one effect in particular that had me scratching my head going, why would you do that? And that's every time Jamie Lee Curtis shows up as Madame Leota. Because when she's in the crystal ball, it's a CG Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, why didn't you just have Jamie Lee Curtis herself do the actual performance? And you can tell by watching her that it's a CG head. It's not actually Jamie Lee Curtis. And that just baffled me to no end. Regardless of those criticisms though, I actually found myself liking the movie more than I didn't. And I feel like I'm in the minority with that mindset. Because with the Haunted Mansion ride itself, I don't really go into that expecting a deep plot or a story. I mean, I don't go into any ride expecting to be emotionally invested. I just go there for a fun time. And for me, that's what this Haunted Mansion movie is, a fun time. It's got a great look to it, the cast is a lot of fun, there are some jokes that I legitimately laughed at, so ultimately I say it's good but not great. Would I own this on Blu-ray? Probably not. I mean, I don't have a strong urge to rewatch it anytime soon. I don't think this is a movie that you should rush out to see in movie theaters, but if you do, go in the afternoon, pay matinee to see it, and you'll have a fun time. Otherwise, I just wait for it to come out on Disney Plus, dim the lights, and it might be a more enjoyable experience. Although I gotta say, for me personally, seeing it in the theater was well worth it because I was sitting next to a group who apparently had never seen a movie before because when a plot twist would happen, I heard them loudly go, "Oh, can you believe that?" And I thought, yeah, I could believe this because I've seen movies. I know how the story structure plays out, so I saw this coming. And they were the only people in the audience that clapped when the movie ended, which it sounds like I'm making fun of them. I'm not. I actually really do admire that they were having as much fun with this movie as they were. So at the end, good but not great. I'd give it a slight recommendation. And there you go. That's my review for Haunted Mansion. Now, staying within the realm of theme park stuff, I want to announce really briefly that I'm relaunching The Real Mr. Robinson's Outdoor Adventures channel. It's been renamed to Alexander Robinson Travel Channel, and the first video that I will have on that channel in over a year will come out tomorrow, in addition to several Disneyland videos that I've been holding on to but never uploaded. So make sure you subscribe to that channel, Alexander Robinson Travel Channel, and I'm really excited to get this channel back on track because with Halloween coming up, I'm excited to go to Halloween Horror Nights, and I've got something big planned for later this year. So make sure you subscribe to that channel, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube Shorts channel, Alexander Robinson Shorts. In the meantime, let me know what you guys think about Haunted Mansion. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.